Okay, so let's talk about addition and subtraction of rational polynomials. Okay, so before that, let's talk about addition subtraction of numbers, of fractions. So the easier case is if you have like fractions, right? Like fractions. So for example, if you have 3 over 4 plus 1 over 4, okay? Or you have 3 over 5 minus 1 over 5, okay? 1 over 5. So if you have same denominator, you can put the common denominator and add numerators. So this will be 3 plus 1, so 4 over 4, number 1. So similarly for subtraction, keep number 5. 3 minus 1, you got 2 over 5. Okay, 2 over 5. So if you have common denominator, the question is very easy. Okay, very easy. So addition subtraction is for the numerators only. Okay, numerators only. So if you have different denominator, right? For example, if you have 1 over 2 and 1 over 3. Okay, 1 over 3. So we need a new common denominator, so which is called least common denominator. Okay, so one way to make least common denominator is we just multiply. 2 times 3, you got 6, that's the least common denominator. But sometimes that's not the least one, that's just a common denominator. Okay, yeah. So for this special case, particular example, so we use 6, right? So we change 1 over 2 to denominator 6 by multiplying 3. So we got 3 over 6 plus, so 1 over 3 times 2 over 2, so this is 2 over 6. So this is 5 over 6. So we change different denominators to common denominators and then add numerators. Okay, add numerators. So similarly for subtraction, 1 over 2 minus 1 over 3, so this will be 3 over 6 minus 2 over 6. So this is 1 over 6. Okay, 1 over 6. So LCD is the key. If you can find LCD and then change denominators to this new number by multiplication, then problem solved. Okay, then problem solved. So how to find LCD? Okay, how to find LCD? Basically, we look at different prime numbers. Okay, different prime numbers. So let's look at a harder case. Okay, let's look at a harder case. So we have 1 over 6 plus 1 over 15. Okay, so what's the LCD of 6 and 15? Okay, 6 and 15. So we have to split 6. So that's 2 and 3, factor 6, right? And 15, so it's 3 and 5. So what's the LCD? We choose different denominators, different prime numbers. Okay, so it's 2 times 3 times 5. Okay, so this one has 6, 2 times 3. Also has 15, 3 times 5. Okay, so we just put different prime numbers together to make LCD. Okay, make LCD. And this is 5 times 6 is 30. So LCD is 30. Okay, so how can we change 6 to 30? Multiply by 5. How can we change 15 to 30? Multiply by 2. Okay, multiply by 2. Okay, so now this is 35. This is 2 over 30. So the sum is 7 over 30. Okay, 7 over 30. So this is harder question for LCD, harder question for addition subtraction of fractions. Okay, of fractions. So now let's look at rational expressions. Okay, rational expressions. So that's from easier to harder. Okay, from easier to harder. So let's say we have 1 over x plus 3x plus 1. Okay, 3x plus 1. So we have two different denominators, x and x plus 1. Okay, x and x plus 1. So x and x plus 1, what's the LCD? Is x times x plus 1. Okay, just like the corresponding comparison number example, 1 over 2 plus 2 over 3, right? What's the LCD? 2 times 3, 6. Okay, 2 times 3, 6. So here LCD, we just use their product. Okay, their product. So now we need to change both these two fractions to this LCD. So the first fraction multiplied by x plus 1, x plus 1. And the second fraction times x and x. Okay, so now the first one is 1 times x plus 1. Denominator is x plus 1. We change it to LCD. So now for the second fraction is 3x on top, and then x times x plus 1 on the bottom. We have common denominator, x times x plus 1. And then now as the addition is between two numerators only, right? Yeah. So 1 times x, x. 1 times 1, 1. And then plus 3x. So the answer is 4x over plus 1 over x times x plus 1. If you want, you can change this to 4x plus 1. Distribution for the denominator, x squared plus x. Okay, plus x. So it's the same idea. We just apply LCD to polynomials. Okay, to polynomials. So this is the easy case. Okay, this is the easy case. A little bit harder case. So let's look at this example, right? So 3 over x plus 4. So I will try to make the numerator easier in the beginning, right? This is 1 over x squared plus 7x plus 12. Okay, plus 12. Okay, so this is the harder case. Okay, this is the harder case, the middle case, not the hardest case. Okay, the middle case. So we need to factor the degree 2 part. Okay, because we need to find LCD. Okay, LCD. So x squared plus 7x plus 12. So last time we did s and t, right? S and t. So s is 3, t is 4. We already did this thing a lot of times. Product is 12, sum is 7. So s and t is 3 and 4. Okay, 3 and 4. So denominator x squared plus 7x plus 12 is x plus 4 times x plus 3. Okay, so now let's write down this step. Okay, yeah, so after you factor the denominator x squared plus 7x plus 12, you can see x plus 4 is in both. Okay, so now what's the LCD of denominators? LCD is just the second denominator. Okay, we need a common multiple of two denominators. Okay, so we just need to change. We just need to change denominator to this LCD. Okay, so for the second fraction, we don't need to change it. Okay, we don't need to change it. For the first fraction, we just multiplied by 1 over x plus 3 and x plus 3. Okay, so LCD is the second fraction, denominator of second fraction. So now let's write down the new addition. So keep this common denominator. Addition is 3 times x plus 3 plus 1. Addition of two numerators. So this is 3x, 9. This is 3x plus 9 plus 1 divided by x plus 4 times x plus 3. This is 3x plus 10 times x plus 4. Okay, yeah. So this case you need to factor the degree 2 part and then to find LCD. Okay, to find LCD. So again, LCD, we just need the smallest multiples of denominators. Okay, denominators. So this is the middle level. Okay, this is the middle level. So now let me change this question a little bit to get a harder level. Okay, to get a harder level. So now let's write down this is x divided by x squared minus 16 minus, so let's still use 1 over x squared plus 7x plus 12. Okay, plus 12. So I copied the same denominator. Okay, I copied the same denominator. from question 1 here, the previous question here. Okay, yeah. So now still we use s and t, s plus t7, s times t12. Then we got the factorization of denominator, x plus 3 times x plus 4. That's denominator. 2. Okay, so what's denominator 1? Denominator 1, we use a squared minus b squared, right? So here we use a squared minus b squared is a plus b times a minus b. Okay, so this will be a is x, b is 4. So we got x plus 4, x minus 4. Okay, x minus 4. So now let's list all the different factors in the denominator. Okay, so we have x plus 4. Okay, so in both, right, we have x plus 4. X plus 4, x plus 4. We have x minus 4. There's x minus 4. We have x plus 3. Okay, x plus 3. So this is the most important thing here. What's the LCD of denominators? We just multiply all of them. Okay, all the different linear expressions, you multiply them together, you got the LCD. X plus 4 times x minus 4 times x plus 3. So this is our LCD. Okay, this is our LCD. So now let's compare this LCD with the first denominator. So what's the missing part? First denominator has x plus 4, x minus 4. So the missing part is x plus 3. So first fraction multiplied by x plus 3, both on top and bottom. So for the second fraction, we have x plus 4 and x plus 3. So the missing part is x minus 4. So we multiply by x minus 4, x minus 4 for the second fraction. Okay, yeah. So now for both fractions, we have the same denominator. So let me write down one extra step, okay, before we put them together. So for these two fractions, we have 3 factors. They are in different order. That's okay. They're still the same product. Okay, they're the same product. So numerators, the first one is x plus 3 times x. The second one is x minus 4 times 1. Okay, times 1. Okay, so we multiply all different factors together to make LCD. Okay, to make LCD. So now this is x plus 3, x plus 4, x minus 4. So now distribution here. X squared plus 3x, and then there's a 1 times this, so it's the same thing, right? Minus x plus 4. I changed the sign because there's a minus sign in the middle. It's a subtraction. Okay, it's a subtraction. Now combine the numerator, simplify the numerators. So this is x squared plus 2x plus 4. Denominator, x plus 3 times x plus 4 times x minus 4. Okay, minus 4. So that's the answer. Okay, that's the answer. So to find LCD, we have to consider all the linear factors in denominators, okay, and then put them together. Okay, multiply all different factors together. Okay, factors together. Okay, yeah. So another example, similar example. Okay, so this is our new example. Okay, this is our new example. So again, the key is LCD. Okay, is LCD. To find LCD, first we factor denominators. So for this denominator, we have common factor x. So factor out x, we got x times x minus 1. And for the second one, we got a squared minus b squared formula, right? So this is x here, and then denominator is x minus 1 times x plus 1. The other doesn't matter. Okay, the other doesn't matter. So now we list all the linear factors. Okay, linear factors. So we have x minus 1, we have x plus 1. So what's the LCD? Multiply all of them together, right? So LCD is x times x minus 1 times x plus 1. Okay, x plus 1. So now we need to change both of them to this new LCD. Okay, new LCD. So we look at the missing part, right? Missing part. The first one have x and x minus 1. So we need x plus 1. So both top and the bottom times x plus 1. The second one, the missing, we have x and x plus 1, x minus 1, x plus 1. So the missing part is x. So we need x and x. Okay, so 3 parts in the denominator for both of them now. So now we have the common denominator, x times x minus 1 times x plus 1. In the numerators, we have 1 times x plus 1 plus x times x. So now simplify numerators. We got this is x, this is 1, so x squared plus x plus 1. Okay, plus 1. So this is another example. Okay, this is another example. Okay, so we have different denominators, and then we factor them to find LCD. Okay, to find LCD. So if this is still too hard for you, look at the number case, right? This is 1 over 2 times 3, 6, plus 1 over 3 times 5. So what's LCD? LCD is, we look at all the different numbers, 2, 3, and 5. So put them together. Okay, so now how to change this one to 2, 3, 5? You use 5. How to change the second one to 2, 3, 5? You use 2. Okay, just put the missing part. Okay, so change to common denominator 2, 3, 5, and then this is 5, this is 2, so 5 plus 2. Okay, then we got 7 over 30. Okay, 7 over 30. It's the same idea. Okay, it's the same idea. Okay, so finally let's look at a very special case. Okay, very hard case. I'm going to give you the step after factoring, right? So let's discuss a harder case. So this is x squared times x minus 1 plus, this is 3, and then this is x minus 1 squared x plus 1. Okay, x plus 1. So this question is harder because we have some repeating linear factors in the denominator. Okay, so here is x times x, here is x minus 1 times x minus 1. So now how to find LCD? Okay, how to find LCD? So now for each linear factor, we list the higher, we want the higher exponent. Okay, so for x, we want x squared. For x minus 1, we want x minus 1 squared. For x plus 1, we want x plus 1. Okay, so here we have x minus 1 and we have x minus 1 squared. You pick what? You pick the one with higher power, higher exponents. Okay, yeah, because we need multiples. So this is not enough to cover the second one, right? We need the higher power, okay, higher exponents. So now what's LCD? LCD is the product of them, right? So LCD is x squared times x minus 1 squared times x plus 1. Okay, times x plus 1. So you may have some repeating linear factors in the denominator. Then when you have this case, you just choose the biggest power. Okay, biggest power. Now let's look at the missing part. The missing part for the first fraction compared to LCD, so you have x squared, you have 1x minus 1. Okay, so you need another x minus 1, and you need x plus 1. So top and bottom times this. Okay, yeah. And for the second one, second denominator, you have already this part, you're missing x squared. So this one you multiply by x squared over x squared. Okay, yeah. So now we have common denominator, so we put it here. And then numerator, so this one is the conjugate product, right? X minus 1 times x plus 1, so it's x squared minus 1. Plus 3 times x squared, so 3x squared. So this is 4x squared minus 1 divided by x squared, x minus 1 squared, and then x plus 1. Okay, x plus 1. So this is the hardest case. Okay, if you have repeating factors in the bottom, you need the biggest power. Okay, you need the biggest power. Okay, yeah, so now a remark. Okay, a remark. So if you have an integer, right, let's say 2 plus 3 over x plus 1. So what's the LCD? Okay, what's the LCD? So we put 1 down here, so LCD is x plus 1. Okay, is x plus 1. So we don't count number 1. Okay, we don't count number 1. 1 times anything is 1. Okay, yeah. So now you just need to change the first fraction to denominator x plus 1. So multiply by x plus 1, x plus 1. So we got x plus 1 here, 2 times x, 2 times x plus 1 plus 3. So let's write down one more step, right? And then distribution. So 2x plus 2 plus 3, and then x plus 1 in the bottom. So this is 2x plus 5 divided by x plus 1. Okay, x plus 1. So for the integer case, we need common denominator. Just put the denominator 1. Okay, denominator 1. Okay, so this LCD idea is very important. Next week we will talk about equations of rational expressions and complicated rational expressions. We need LCD again. Okay, we need LCD again. So let me repeat. LCD, we just multiply all different linear factors together to get of the denominators together to get LCD. Okay, to get LCD.